Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. Hey, Shalom. This lesson, just based on current events, you had that major flood that happened in central Texas around Kerrville. And at first, they were just saying it's, maybe a few dead, a dozen little girls missing, this or that, and now as the days have gone by, I believe that was it might have been Friday, the 4th, which was Babylon the Great's birthday, so it's very beautiful, very spiritual things taking place, these things, these tragedies that would happen on a day of celebration, and if you were here in Texas on that day, it was it was overcast. It was very gloomy. And so these events that took place only added to it. So, for the Israelites that are in this truth, the hopeful elect, hey, these are all good things to us. Like these are good news. Bad news for you heathen, good news for us. Because this shows that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is visiting you. On top of all the other events, World War III, the MOT being built up, these prisons being built, and this is very beautiful times. It's always beautiful when Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai lets himself be known. And he's known through his judgment. So I'm just going to get right into it. This is Isaiah chapter 45 and verse, let me start at verse 5. It says, this is Isaiah 45 and verse 5. I am Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. There is none else. So the way these Christians, they treat the Heavenly Father, they treat the Heavenly Father, the way they look at him, the way they look at his son Yahushai, and they've changed the names. They treat them like a completely different being that has nothing to do with the Bible. It's their idea of the Most High is counterfeit. It's completely opposite to what's written in the scriptures. He's an all loving, all caring, and this and that, whatever power. When in reality, the other nations, if you're not an Israelite, or really in this time, if you're not of the elect of Israel, Yahweh Shem Yahushai don't even care about you. If you're a heathen, you were like a drop in the bucket. Who cares? So I am Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. There is none else. So there's no other power like Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is the one true living power or living God. There is no God beside me. There's no one else beside him. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me. And speaking of the Israelites, he clothed us. He raised us up. It's his spirit in these last days that has raised us up from this spiritual slumber and gave us the eyes and the ears and the spirit to see what's going on in these last days. Starting with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and their teachers, starting with Abba Bivens. He's woken us up. He's risen us from the dead. And it's also showing Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai's power. He's all powerful. Verse 6, that thou may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me. So we went off, us the Israelites, we went off worshiping these idols, worshiping these false gods. And Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai put us in this condition. Everything that we're going through, everything that we've seen, we're in this condition, and we're waking up. Now we're knowing that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, he did all this. He put us in this slumber. He put us in the hands of our enemies. So now that they may know from the rising of the sun, from the west and from the west, that there is none beside me. I am Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and there is none else. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, do all these things. So the part I'm focusing on, the point was, I make peace and I create evil. Now, if you're looking around, you should see the current events, everything going on. This is not peaceful times. Tensions are boiling over. Tensions are rising. Tensions are increasing where it's going to be all out chaos. So, and Salakia. And this evil. Hey, Yahweh Shem Yahushai brought evil upon them people that were around Kerrville, upon them campsites. Because the first day, the death toll, I don't think there was even a death toll. They just said a dozen children are missing. Now it's Tuesday. There's 100 people dead. It's Yahweh Shem Yahushai that brings this evil. Yahweh Shem Yahushai, whether this was weather modification, however it was Yahweh Shem Yahushai that ultimately did this. So from here, this is Deuteronomy, and we really shouldn't. Yeah, people die, but hey, get over it. Because when you die, hey, guess what? That's not the end all be all. Your spirit returns to the heavens. You get rest. You get reincarnated on the earth. Death is not the end. So this is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 49. Yahweh Shem Yahushai shall bring a nation, and this is the curses. This is the curses that we went through. Scoffers and mockers and whatnot like to say that these curses have nothing to do with the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, but these curses fit us to a T. It even says in the curses that that there would be a sign and a wonder for us, that there would be for evidence, an evident token that we the people under these curses. So Yahweh Shem Yahushai shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. So this nation was hey, it's symbolic, because their symbol, hey, they came on them fast ships. Their symbol is the eagle. They're proud like the eagle. They're high above everybody in their pride like the eagle. It's beautiful. It's beautiful how the scriptures completely identify who Esau Edom, the so-called white man, is. So hey, he had us in slavery. He raped the men, women, children, the boys, the girls. He showed no mercy. Matter of fact, I'll keep reading. A nation of fierce countenance, which shalt not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. So they showed, hey, they don't care if you old. They didn't show any favor to the young. Because one of the first things, when I was reading about, the Jews that were expelled from Spain, and they separated the parents from the children, and they sent the children down to Sao Tome and had them working, I believe it was sugarcane. They had it, whatever. They had them little kids picking crops out there, separated from their parents. All kinds of madness and wickedness that these people have done to us. So really, if you're in your right mind, you're not going to feel any kind of compassion towards them. You shouldn't. You should wean yourself off of that, because it's they're the devil. They're going to take any opportunity. Like if this was to happen to Jake, a Jake town which hey, they even have that. Jake towns that were flooded. Now they're sitting under lakes, and they don't go and mourn for the Jake towns that were destroyed, like what was that, like Tulsa, like Black Wall Street, Rosewood, the flooded towns that have happened. They're not mourning about that. They turn that into an amusement park. They turn that into like a recreation site. With the flooded lakes. They go in there over the weekends and having boating trips and drinking and having fun and making merry. They don't care about you Jakes that live there. They don't care. I'm going to read verse 51 and I'm going to move on. And Deuteronomy 28 verse 51, and he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed, which also shalt not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or increase of thy kind, or flocks of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee. So this man's going to consume everything. And if you see Esau Edom, through his capitalism or whatever he wants to call it, And this man consumes everything. He taxes you to death. He destroy your land, destroy your crops. He don't care. He's just a destroyer. This man is as deaf and cannot be satisfied. So what compassion do you expect to get? This is 2 Kings, and this is just making the point of, yeah, there was children, dozens of children that got swept up in that. But so what? And here's an account of Elisha after he was mourning, after Elijah was taken away from him. Elijah was taken up into the chariot, and Elisha is mourning here. So I'm going to just jump right into it. 2 Kings chapter 2 and verse 23. And he went up from thence to Bethel, and as he was going up by the way, there came forth little children out of the city, and they mocked him and said unto him, Go up, thou bald head, go up, thou bald head. So they're little children, little kids, probably around the same age as them camp children, saying, Go up, mocking them, calling them bald. And he turned back and looked down, and he turned back and looked on them and cursed them in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. And the same thing, we cursing you Edomites in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. We hoping worse things happen to you. And we seeing these things like, you people are addicted to all sorts of drugs. Your economy's failing. You don't know how to do anything. You're being laid off from your jobs. It's beautiful. And he turned back and looked on them and cursed them in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. And there came forth 2 she-bears out of the wood, and tear 42 children of them. So this is little children. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai is not a respecter of persons. They got caught up in that, and good for them. Just showing Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, he'll take out the old, and even in Deuteronomy 28, that's Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai bringing that judgment upon us. He's not showing favor to the old or the young. This is Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 12. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken, the Israelites. And we were supposed to be on top. We're supposed to live forever. We're supposed to keep the commandments. We're supposed to keep what was given to us. We're supposed to be thriving. But how it turned out, how Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai wrote it out, and we were supposed to go through this. We're supposed to do this so we can learn both sides. What it's like to be under a wicked rulership, what it's like to not fulfill what we're supposed to do. And then after this, we're going to have the Spirit put within us. We're going to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, and we're going to see what it's like to truly keep Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai's law, statutes, and commandments, and see the earth put in order, to see the earth grow in righteousness. Because right now it's under the wicked rulership. It's lucky again, kind of under the weather. So, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken, and art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? So speaking of you, Esau, Edom, are you though the Israelites who are not supposed to be going through this punishment, who are not supposed to drink of this cup, have drunken of it, and you who have done all manner of wickedness, who have shown no mercy, who has destroyed the earth in your short rule. I want to use a $10 word, tenure. In your short tenure, you've destroyed the entire world. You think you're not going to go unpunished? You think you're going to just get off scot-free? Well, that flood is just an example. Your economy crashing is just an example. The prophets waking up in these last days is an example that you're not getting off scot-free. The Israelites waking up, coming into their true heritage after you've done everything that you could do to try to hide it from us, is showing that you're not going to go unpunished. So And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. So you're gonna drink this down. You're gonna drink it all the way down to the bottom, the dregs, all that stuff, all the grainy, no chaser neither. For I've sworn by myself, saith Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, that Basra shall become a desolation. That's the capital of Edom. A reproach, a waste, and a curse. And all the cities thereof shall be perpetual waste. Ooh. And it's beautiful too, because right now in Mexico, Issachar is down there, protesting Esau Edom. One of them migrant tourists down there, that come down there and just do whatever they do. They want them out. So it's beautiful. And hey, that's all I'm gonna read from that one. You can keep going. It's beautiful. This is Isaiah 47. Salakia. Again. This is Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 7. And thou saidst, I shall be a lady forever. So, meaning they're not going to be touched by anything. No wars, nothing like that. So that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart. They're drunken off the blood of the saints. Hey, they're up. They're winning. They've been winning for the last, however many 100 years. Everything that they're doing is prospering in wickedness. Hey, this man thinks he can't be stopped. But now, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai is showing him, look what I'm doing to you. So, and thou saidst, I shall be a lady forever, that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Therefore, so you ain't remember that, hey, this is only for a short period of time. You ain't remember that your brother Jacob, who you've been trying to kill, who you've been trying to slay, he's going to get you by the heel. You ain't remember that you're going into captivity after this, and that you're going to be destroyed after 1,000 years. Therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart. Hey, and you can just look all over Babylon. Instagram is you go on the explore page on Instagram or TikTok or whatever it may be, you just see these Babylonians just living carelessly. They're not thinking about the future. They're not thinking about nothing. They're not thinking about the signs of destruction that are on the horizon. They're not thinking about the MOTB. They don't think anything bad could happen here. They think this is just a little bump in the road. Meanwhile, it's a whole fucking sinkhole opening up. But, continuing on. Therefore, hear now this, that thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else besides me. So they saying they're a God. That they're God. Even in 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter. Going into that, I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. So they say, I'm not going to be a widow. I'm not going to lose. I ain't losing nothing. And this scripture came to mind when they said them little Edomite children got swept away by the floods and they're lost. Just that. But hey, they're going to lose everything. It says, verse 9, but these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. So all the wickedness, all the different sorceries, everything that you've done, you're going to lose your children. You're going to become a widow. You're going to lose everything. You're going to be made desolate. This is Lamentations 4:21, and I'm going to close out after this. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken, and thou shalt make thyself naked. And he's being made naked. He's being stripped bare. All these different events, his tongue falling on himself, his kingdom being divided. It's beautiful. He's being stripped away. Verse 22, the punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. So this is a rejoicing for us, the Israelites. And our punishment is over. And we're just waiting to be rescued. We're seeing this devil coming down, falling down. You know, we're not going. There's not going to be another captivity after this. Now it's Esau, Edom's turn. These curses going on him. So we should be rejoicing. I'm glad to see these events happening. But a Lord willing is edifying. I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. Hey, shalom.